Hi everyone, I have been looking at this lovely page from Millie Marotta's Secrets of the Sea and thought I would show you how I'm going to start the page. Sorry that my lamp glare is really bright. I am going to zoom in and it does then make things a lot easier and clearer. Let's just move the book a little bit. Now I'm just going to show you one fish and a little bit of the water so that you can then carry on and do your own thing. Just thought you might want a little bit of guidance or just have a look and see how I might do it. I thought it would be fun. So I've chosen this fish. Now I'm going to use the same colour scheme for all of the fish and all of the water. Obviously you don't have to do that, but that's how I'm going to approach this particular page. So start with the fish eye. I always do the centre black, so this is a black pencil. I'm using my Polychromos set, but obviously it doesn't matter what you use, but a really dark, deeper black for the eye. Now if you go around the edge and slightly darker and then bring it into the centre, it can look a little bit like the eye is sticking out a bit more, which I think can be fun. So you can try that. So as I did, around the edge here darker and a little bit lighter towards the middle. If your middle's too dark, you can always lighten it slightly with a white pencil. And Polychromos white, not brilliant for that, but other brands can be really good. Now around the eye, I like to do a little bit of grey. I'm going to use the cold grey 4. And what I do, so do a little fleck of grey, quite a dark bit here, and then lighten it and leave some white, and the same on this side. And I think that just makes the eye look a little bit shiny. It's quite hard to see. Let's zoom in a little bit more if I can. There we go. So it looks like it shines a bit. So that's our eye. Now I'm going to do the fish in oranges. I do like an orange coloured fish. You may not want to fall into my stereotype of fish colour, but it's completely up to you. I'm going to start with the fins and the tail. I usually do those in a slightly darker colour. And I'm going to start with the light cadmium red, and I'm going to find all the fins and bits and pieces. So we've got one here, and so I'm going to do a darker colour actually underneath and fade it up a little bit like that. Now here I'm going to do it darker where it touches the body here, but then also underneath here like that, and then just start to fade it a bit because I want to blend the other colour in. And we've got this bit too. I guess this is this one on the back. So again, do a little bit darker and then lighter. It stands out then. And here, same. Now on the fish we've got all sorts of little cute intricate patterns, and we can choose to ignore them and just colour over, or we can use them to make our fish look really pretty. And I will probably use different approaches through the book with different creatures depending on what mood I am in. But for the fish, I think I am going to use the markings to make it look pretty. So when I have finished the fins and tail and things, I will show you what my plan is. So again, just fade it down towards the tip of the tail. I've got a split tail here. Try not to get it on the watery bit, it doesn't matter too much. And our last colour for this is the dark cadmium orange. Sorry, it's quite tricky for you to see. So I'm just going to go over the whole of this. Well, where it starts to fade, I'm going to go over it. If you go over the really dark bit, it can fade that a little bit, so you might want to then add it back in. But it does help to smooth and blend. So it's a bit blunt. I'm just going to sharpen. So I think the eye, making it, you might also want to do a little bit of white in the eye to make it look like the light is shining off the eye, because obviously that often happens, or even over the fish, a bit of white on its body, because obviously fish's scales are often shiny, but that's up to you. I didn't plan on doing that myself, so I probably won't. But if you want to do white, I find the best way for me is to use a gel pen. A Sakura Jelly Roll is pretty good for me, or a Posca, white Posca pen. I find some cheaper white pens don't really work so well. But I have heard that people use a watercolour pencil and wet it and use it. So that's another idea if you have such a thing. Right, so there's our main. Oh, that's not very well coloured, is it? Just going to go over that a little bit more. But that's these parts done. Now I'll show you what I'm going to do with the rest of the fish. My oranges are getting a little bit short. This one is number 113. I think it's probably the Cadmium Orange, but I'm just going to check. No, it's the Orange Glaze. Okay, so this is the Orange Glaze, and I'm going to use this for the detailing on the fish, and I will show you to sharpen it. So I'm going to start with these large square pieces. I'm going to take a darker layer here and then fade it down here. Okay, and do that on each of these. Basically, I want to make the most of Millie's lovely decorations and try and make them stand out. And fade it down. So to fade it, basically reduce the pressure, so don't push down as hard on the pencil, but also do less layers. You notice I'm spending more time at the top, building up that colour, and then less as I go down. There we go. Now the circles, I think I'll do the same, a little bit darker at the top and the bottom. They're a little bit small, it's going to be tricky. I do my best, and if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to worry. And they definitely look a little bit darker because there's a smaller space, it's harder to reduce the colour. That's okay, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, now we've got this bit here. I think I'm going to do it a little darker on the top part and then fade it down a bit. Again, there's not a lot of space, and the same here, darker here, a bit less down here. I was trying to work out what's going on here. I'm going to do a darker bit there and there. I'm going to treat these as one and then reduce that as we get towards the fin, like that, and the opposite on here, so darker towards the eye and less towards the fin. Don't really line up, do they? But that's actually quite cool. Now with these ones, I'm going to do my darkest bit on the edge here and try and have it light in the middle. I find it easier to start at each end and then sort of draw it together. I might even just leave a tiny gap, maybe not, just really fade it down. Now each fish has its own unique patterns, so you can choose what to do with each one, which is fun. So you might want to do a similar thing with similar colours on each of the fish, or you might want to do a similar shading technique but use different colours. You know, there's lots of options there. Now I have my Cadmium Orange. Oh, I have just dropped him on the floor. Hang on, bear with me. Oh. The reason I dropped him on the floor is because he's only this size. I popped him in my pencil sharpener and moved the sharpener, and he jumped out and jumped on the floor. Unfortunately, I can't turn him in my sharpener, so I'm going to have to use him slightly blunt, and I shall find out my replacement. But he's going to be doing my back, the rest, sort of background, I guess, is what I was trying to say. So I'm going to do a little bit darker on the edges and lighter towards the middle of the fish, just because I think that might show that he's got a little bit of shine on his middle part. I don't know how effective it will be because we've obviously got all of these other detailing and colouring going on. but we'll see what happens. So I'm just trying to do it quite lightly in this middle, a little bit darker here and here, and then lighten it towards the centre here. The joy with this is you can go out of the lines and over the top of everything else because it's a lighter shade of what we've been doing. So you've got, makes it nice and free and easy. A little bit darker here, lighter here. And then we can stop and look, we've got this bit to do. I'm going to just observe and see where I've missed bits. It's easier for me to look in the camera just to tidy it up. A bit darker down at the bottom. And there's our fish. I think he looks quite cute. Well, he's been drawn in a cute way, so he's going to look cute, isn't he? But I'm going to show you my water technique. It's not going to take long. Because I'm going to do each piece of water, I don't know, in the same way. I'm going to use these two really pretty colours which we've got in the Polychromos, the Cobalt Green and the light, oops, dear me, the light Cobalt Turquoise. And my plan is to find the beginning of a piece of water as a curl here. Start off dark at this end, layer up the colour a bit, and then start to fade it along and actually fade it out like that. Find the other end and do the same thing. So dark here, can you still see? Oh, just about. There. So dark on this end. And lighter as we go along. Fade it out like that. Then we grab the lighter colour, which, as I said, is the light Cobalt Turquoise. And we can go right over the top of what we've done. Like this. And then fade it towards the middle. Now I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this water with regards to when I finish the picture. I might do a pastel colour in the background to sort of finish it off so there's water everywhere, or I might leave it white and do some white bits and bobs in the water, you know, dots and splashes and things. I haven't really decided yet, but that is how I'm going to do all these pieces, so it's very straightforward. I'm not going to show you another one because it's get really boring, but this one you see just comes from nowhere. It's just a little bit, so you start with your dark here and here and just fade it very quickly and then put in the other colour, this colour that I've got in my hand. So it's all quite straightforward, and we get all our fish in orange, all our water, and this is a double page picture, so you can choose whether you want to do both pages the same or whether you want to mix it up and make them different. You could even do the water orange and the fish blue on the other side. That would be a challenge for me, I have to say. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed that. I had great fun colouring that lovely fish, and I'm going to have fun finishing the rest of the page. I will publish it at some point, my finished picture. I'm not sure when. I may not be finished by the time this video goes out, but I will have put it on Instagram. And I also have Pinterest. I know some people have trouble getting an Instagram account and seeing things on there, but I have a Pinterest account. I don't think you need an account to be able to view things on there. And I'm Rachel Henderson Colouring on both of those, and all my links are in the video description, so you should be able to find me. So thank you so much for watching. Do click like if you enjoyed this video, because I don't do many Millie Marottas, so it's always nice to know if it's something that you want more of. I've certainly had fun, that's for sure. So thank you very much, and happy colouring.